Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm revisiting the idea of eating for $1 a day. But in this video, I'll be counting the cost of the food consumed. For example, I may be using a portion of a bag of rice, so I'll just count the cost of the portion that I use. Last time I did this challenge, I purchased most of my ingredients at Winco from their food bins. Some of my viewers commented on that video and said that they don't have a Winco anywhere near them. My response to those comments has been, you should be able to beat most of my prices by buying in bulk quantities. Let me clarify exactly what I mean by this. I normally purchase very small quantities of food for all of my budget challenge videos simply because it's easier for filming purposes, but the cost of food goes down dramatically with the more you buy. If we're purchasing items like dried beans and rice, there is zero waste, so it does make sense to purchase a 1 month supply to obtain the savings. I thought it would be fun to see if this is true and how my dollar worth of food will compare to last time. In this video, I'll be eating $1 worth of food for an entire day from items I purchased in bulk, along with any produce I can find on sale at my local market. Before I went to the store, I looked to see what the cheapest foods I could buy would be. I compared the different prices between rice and beans, and just looking at rice, I found that Walmart was much cheaper than Winco bins and came in at 45 cents a pound by purchasing a 20-pound bag for $8.98. Sam's Club did have a great price on rice at 38 cents a pound, but you do have to pay for the membership, so I didn't use those prices in my budget. I'll just be sticking strictly to Walmart. An 8-pound bag of pinto beans came in right at 75 cents per pound at Walmart, and that was 10 cents less than Winco. All of that to say, these prices have a huge impact when you're trying to eat for only $1 a day. I plan my menu around basic white rice and beans, and I planned to use pinto beans, but I didn't realize that I was actually out and when I went to film, so I went ahead and used the black beans that were in my cabinet. However, those were purchased at Dollar Tree, so if you're redoing this yourself, you're going to save a little bit more money than I was able to do on the beans. And then I just have 1 egg, 1 tomato. I purchased a bunch of cilantro and I split those into 4 so that I could just attribute to this meal 1/4 of the cilantro. I ended up picking up 2 of these yams because I really had no idea how much they were going to come in at, and I think the smaller one is right at 9 cents, so I'll go ahead and use that for this meal. I'm going to measure out 1/3 of the fideo pasta and use that in my menu. I pulled out this tomato seasoning to use with some fideo soup later, and I thought, why not try it with the rice for a breakfast meal? I do plan on making some tacos, so I'm thinking it would make a nice filler and maybe add a lot of flavor to the tacos and bulk them up a bit. So I'm going to see if I can make like a fried rice. I'm going to brown it first and then add the seasonings in there and then finish cooking it. This seasoning is so delicious. I think it's going to be just what my breakfast tacos need to add that extra bit of flavor. I cannot believe I haven't tried this seasoning before. I'll definitely be using this again. I could only afford one egg in the budget, so the black beans and the rice really helped to bulk this up and make it a lot more filling and more nutritious. And the rice really was awesome. It just added a lot of flavor. I would definitely make this again. I would also use that as a component in burritos. I'm kind of excited to try this seasoning with, a fluffy rice that I might make alongside cheese enchiladas. I think that it would be perfect. I would use a little bit less seasoning than I did for this because, of course, I was trying to have this, flavor my whole taco. So I added a little bit extra seasoning to do that. But I think that there's going to be a lot of applications for this. And like I said, I'm kind of surprised I haven't already tried this. So I want to give a big shout out to one of my viewers, Bibi, who was talking to me the other day about sopa de fideo, and I am super excited to try it. It's something that I've passed by in the grocery aisle and didn't really know how to use these little noodles, but this is great because it gives me an opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and save part of this tomato for my dinner, and I'm going to use the other half in the soup. If any of you do this challenge and you think it turns out well, let me know what you did. You can send me an email to ardentmichelle1@gmail.com, or if you just have a great recipe that you want to share, certainly send me an email and you might just see me cooking it here on my channel. I do love to hear about all the things you guys are cooking. This dish is very popular in Mexico and Spain. I was reading how this comfort food brings back a type of nostalgia from childhood with memories of mothers making this soup. My viewer told me that with all of the toppings that she makes for her family, they're able to feed their family for $2. I'm not sure exactly what toppings she uses, and if any of you out there make this soup, please do comment and let me know what you like to use for your toppings, because this is definitely a recipe I'll be making again. This tomato seasoning is a seasoning that I've passed by over and over. It's in the Hispanic food section at the grocery store, and I did pick some up at the 99-cent store about 2 months ago, and I just had it on hand. And so when I saw the recipe and that it called for this seasoning, I was excited to be able to pull this out of the cabinet and give this a shot. And I have to say, if you've never tried this before, there's something magical that happens with these noodles. Oh my gosh, the texture is just spot on. I loved it. I knew this wasn't going to give me enough calories and protein and stuff like that to last me very long, but it was so good that I just wanted to try a little bit of this, have a small bowl of it before I added anything else into it. Some of my viewers and I have been talking about using the stems on the cilantro, so this time I'm going to try it. I'm just going to chop it up and put it over the soup along with the part that I normally use. And I have to say, it was absolutely delicious. The stems still have the flavor of the cilantro, but it actually gave it a little bit of a crunch. And so it was a nice texture to add to the soup, as well as just giving it a nice, fresh, light flavor. So anyway, I'm curious to see what you guys think about this, and or if you have an experience with sopa de fideo, let me know in the comments down below. This meal was delicious. I do wish I would have plated it differently. I wish I would have went ahead and made cilantro lime rice without the lime. I think that that would have been okay. Maybe I could have mixed it in with a little bit of oil and salt, and I think that would have looked a little bit better. But it was delicious. It was super filling. It had a lot of protein, and I did like the cinnamon on the yams. I just really like having something a little sweet in my bowls every now and then. The acidity of the tomato worked really well with the beans and rice, and the cilantro really freshened up the flavor of the bowl as well. I think that overall, I would say that I did a much better job with $1 here than I did at Winco. Basically just buying in larger quantities and utilizing low-cost staple items like rice and beans. I would love to hear from you if any of you do this challenge yourself. I hope you guys like my video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week with another budget video challenge.